Very good evening, all of you. Hope you all are doing well. Let's start with today's session. Now, continuing with yesterday's discussion. Yesterday, we started with object-oriented programming in Python. Okay. So first, we discussed what is procedure-oriented coding, then object-oriented coding, then the features of object-oriented programming. One that is object. So that we discussed. Class also we have discussed. We have not just gone through the slides, right? So about that class, we will go through the slide. Okay, so class is group of objects of the same type. Means all the objects which share the same characteristics. Okay, all the objects which are sharing same characteristics, same behavior. Their group will represent a class, and objects are members of that class. Or you can say class describes the nature of the object, the form of the object. Class is like a template, class is like a blueprint, class is like a design, and objects are copies of that template. Or you can say objects are production of that design. In programming terminology, I said in programming concept, if you relate, class will act like a data type, okay? And objects are variables of that data type. Okay, so objects are variables, class, data type. Class doesn't take space, objects take space. Objects are copies of that class. Objects are instances of that class. So objects are like variables and variables occupy space. And every variable is having a data type. Same way, objects have their class. Okay? Then today we will be discussing about how to create this class in Python and then how to create objects, how to add data in it. All one by one we will discuss quickly. So first we'll go through this class concept which we discussed yesterday. Collection of objects of similar type. So all the objects which are sharing the same characteristic, same behavior. Get it? All those which are having same behavior, same characteristic. Their values can be different. Value of one object and the values of another object can be different, but the characteristics are same. Get it? Like if I'm having one cat and another cat, but both are belonging to cat category. So cat is the class. And if this is one cat called Money and this is another cat called Kitty, so Kitty and Money are just two objects of that cat. They are belonging to this category cat. They are sharing the same characteristics, same behavior. Getting? But the value can be different. The characteristics are like height, weight, breed, gender, color. So now only what can be different? The height of this cat and height of this cat can be different. The weight can be, the values are different, but the characteristics are same. Currently, Kitty may be in the run behavior, whereas Money may be in the sleep behavior. Doesn't matter, but the behaviors for both the are same. Okay. Then I said set of objects which are sharing same characteristic and same behavior forms a class. Class describes the nature of your object. How your object will be means what will be the behaviors of it, what will be the characteristics of your object. That who describes class. I said class acts like a template, it acts like a design, it acts like a blueprint, and from that design we do production. So whatever production is done, they are objects. Production are variables, they occupy space. Get it? So class is like a blueprint, or you can call it, it's like a template, or it's like a design. And if you relate it with programming language, then you can call class as a user-defined data type in which there will be data and methods, and the copies of that user-defined data type. The copies means variables of these data types are called as objects. We call it as instances. Correct? So if you relate to the programming model, class will be the data type. Okay. And the variables of that data type are objects. And therefore objects take space. Remember. So class never takes space, but the objects take. Actually, class never take means one copy of that class will take always. That is called as a class space. So every class will take space, but that is called as a class space once only. But objects will take space as many objects you create. As many objects, that many times the space is duplicated. Correct? So class never takes memory, but the objects take. Because every object is supposed to store its own state. Every object is supposed to maintain its own state, right? So money has to maintain its height, its color, its weight. Okay. Kitty has to maintain its own height, color, weight. So both have to maintain their own state. Therefore, for every object, separate space will be there. Okay. As an example, if I give you, yesterday also I've given you, like when there is festival, mom makes cookies at home. Correct. So to make that cookies, she is having some aluminum mold or a plastic mold. So this is the mold of star shape. That mold is the class. And then she makes dough, right or no? That wheat flour will be there. Then in that water, milk, sugar, essence, whatever she'll put, and then she will knead it. Okay. And then after kneading it, then she makes a dough of it, and then with a roller, she spreads that dough, right on. And after spreading that dough, she goes on pressing this mold on it, and you get lot of star shapes that she's picking one by one and putting it in one tray, and then she inserts it in the oven. And after baking, you get lot of cookies of the same shape. So those cookies which are made from that same mold. They are the objects, correct? And their category is the class because they all belong to one star category. See, all the cookies are sharing the same shape, okay? So all they are sharing the same shape. Therefore, they belong to one common category. So what is their category? Star, suppose. So that becomes the class, and the members of that class are objects. Get it? Same way, like if an automobile engineer is there, so he has designed the car. All the design specifications are done. How the power will be generated and how the gearbox mechanism, everything. Take care how bonnet will open, doors will open, everything. The design is done. Now this design is given to the production floor, and those people, by seeing the design, they make cars, and hundreds of cars come in the market. So as many cars have come in the market, the real cars made from that design, these cars which have come in the market on the road, they all are objects. But to make them, one design was used, that is the class. Get it? So I hope it is relatable to you. You are able to make the analogy, right? Yesterday I told you like architect gives the blueprint of that flat. If it's a 3 BHK flat, the complete design is given by the architect. And then the civil engineer uses that design given by the architect to make hundreds of flats in that building. So hundreds of flats which are made in that building, they are objects, but they all are made from the same design. So that design which is given on the paper, that is the class. Get it? Now, so many examples to give. I hope it is clear to you. Now, all this thing yesterday we had discussed. Now, moving to the next concept, that is encapsulation. So, what is encapsulation? You can say encapsulation is a process of binding data, okay, and the related functions. Okay, so we are having some functions, okay, and the related functions and the data on which those functions are going to operate. Means functions will contain logic, it will contain algorithms, some business calculations, whatever. But in that function, you're operating on that data. So putting the related functions and the related data into a capsule, and that capsule is called as a class. Getting? So the process of creating class in a very simple term, the mechanism of designing the class in which you are going to encapsulate the data and the functions, the related functions and the related data. When you put it into a class, the, the process of creating that class is called encapsulation. And remember, encapsulation only leads to abstraction. Getting? Now you'll say, what is abstraction? Abstraction means hiding the important things and only making the relevant things available to the outside world which are needed. Only the things which are needed to be made available, they will make it, but the other things are kept hidden. Okay. So here also see in this, we are trying to keep this data hidden. We are not making it directly available to the outside world. This data will be available only within the function. So as this data is not made available outside the class directly, it is only accessible within the function. We'll say this data is abstract. So that is called as data hiding. Correct? So abstraction means hiding the important things and making only the relevant things available to the outside world. Okay. And this functions also what logic is implemented in it. Outside world doesn't know. They only call the function and take the benefit of it by creating object. You understanding? Means the users who are going to use this class, they will just create the object and call the methods of it. But within the method, what logic is implemented is kept hidden. They are just taking the benefit of it. Correct? Example, best example of car, if you can consider. So when a common man buys the car, he just knows how to drive it. Internal mechanisms are kept hidden. Get it? So all the characteristics of that car are abstract. And the behaviors, whatever are there, they're just made available to the car owner to access it. But how those behaviors are implemented are hidden. I hope you're understanding. Means when you buy the car, you know how to ignite it, how to accelerate it, how to change the gear. Okay. But you don't know the internal mechanism of that car unless and until you're from that field. Correct? Unless and until you're from that field or you were one of the team member of making designing of that car. A common man knows only how to press on the accelerate plate and move ahead or move the steering or change the gear. Internal mechanism, how the fuel is flowing from the fuel tank to where the power is getting generated, nothing is known. How the gearbox mechanism is, how the gearbox, when you press the clutch, how it gets open and then it becomes loose. The whole gearbox mechanism is not known to us. How the power is getting generated, we don't know. What is behind the dashboard? Means inside the car, there is an entire dashboard. We only know to change the channel, to increase the volume. But do we know the circuitry behind that entire dashboard? No. Everything is kept hidden. So exact in object-oriented programming, encapsulation leads to abstraction. Means abstraction means hiding the important things and only making available the relevant things which are needed. Getting? Means जो जरूरत है उतना ही available किया है, बाकी चीजें hide रखा है. Okay. So what is encapsulation? I hope it is clear. The process of binding the data and the functions. These functions are only called as methods. Okay. So binding the related data and the related functions into one unit called class, and the process of making that class is called encapsulation. Getting? Encapsulation you see so many places in the surrounding. Getting? Like when in the Diwali, when mom makes that karanji, you can see. Then the open, she makes a round small thing, and then one side she keeps that one spoon of mixture made up of so many things, dry fruit, sugar, and so many things that she keeps, and then this half part is put on it, and then you get a D shape. Get it? She fries it, you consume it, you get the benefit of it, you enjoy it. But what is put inside it is hidden to you. Right or no? So that process is encapsulation only, no? Right or no? Or when mom makes a paratha or a puran poli, so puran poli is a process of encapsulation only. Or when she makes a paratha, it is a process of encapsulation. Capsules of medicine. In that also, so many ingredients are there in that capsule, right? Yes or no, half color, and lot of ingredients, all things are there. General men, a common man, unless and until you are not from a pharma or a science background, you just know it's a capsule, you consume it, you take the benefit. Normally, what is put inside it is hidden to you. Everything is just encapsulated inside it. Get it? So, so many things to relate. Here I can say like the data and the functions are put within a capsule. The outside world can only call these functions. They can call and take the benefit of it. But what logic is there inside that function is not known. And the data also is only processed within that function. The outside world cannot access this data directly. So indirectly, encapsulation will lead to what? Abstraction. I said, just like a capsule hides medicine, and protects it from the outside access. Same way in programming, this class is hiding the data and the functions. The data is processed only within that function, and the outside world is just calling the function and taking the benefit. They are not knowing what logic is implemented inside it.
As like
Getting?
ATM machine also.
Pardon?
As like ATM machine also.
Huh,
They do
exactly. You
the
can say, so
deposit.
I gave an example of car also. No? The car is
Yes.
abstract. We are just using the car, but we don't know the internal mechanism, how the fuel is
Yes.
flowing from that, how the power is generated, how gearbox gets open. Nothing we know. Getting? But we know, or if you see in the car, the dashboard is there. We know just to press the channel and increase the volume. But behind the dashboard, what the entire electronic circuitry is there, nothing is known. We are just taking the benefit of it. The example which she gave, that is ATM. ATM machine also, we don't know. We just put our card, okay? We enter the PIN and we perform the operations. Right or no? You are checking the balance or you're doing withdrawal, right? Or you're just taking the statement of your account, right? So only that functionality, or you're setting the PIN change you have to do, or you have to block your card or something to whatever functionalities you're doing. But behind that ATM machine, how it is scanning your ATM card and then it is sending the details to the server, how server matches that in the database and then gives you the response within fraction of seconds. That whole thing happens. And then the operations take place. So as much amount, that much signal only is given to that wheel which is there, which throws the notes outside. So exactly that many notes only the counting is done, right or no? The whole mechanism internally is abstract to us. So best example she gave of ATM machine, right? So in that case, we are just using it. We are taking the benefit. We don't know how it is implemented. Okay, right? So encapsulation will always lead to abstraction. Okay? Now we will move ahead with the programming part. Now your little bit theoretical concepts are clear to you. Now we will see how to define a class in Python, then how to create objects from it. Okay, so one by one we will discuss. So now how to define a class? Because unless and until you create a class, you cannot create objects of it, isn't it? Unless and until the design is done, how can we do the production from that design? As I said, now mom is making cookies, but she need to have that aluminum mold first so that she can press on that dough and make hundreds of cookies. Or in the bakery, if you go, there are a lot of cupcakes kept in the tray. So to make that cupcakes, they use some aluminum mold. And from that mold, tray full of cakes are created. So unless and until the design is there, we cannot do the production, right? Civil engineer also, he waits for the architect to give the design. And once the design is available from the architect, then only the next steps start. The actual construction start. Right? So, or when the production floor wants to make the car, they are waiting for that automobile engineer to give the design of the car, then only the actual making of that car will start. So in programming also, when you want to create objects, first you have to create a class. Okay. So how to define class? Very simple. You have to use keyword class. Class is a keyword, remember. Okay, then you will give the name of the class. Okay, class name and then colon. Now, till now, I hope you have got a habit that whenever we write any header line, we complete with a colon. Yes or no? Nearly many things. For loop, when we write the header line of the for loop, we complete with colon. For while loop, for if else, for function also see we write def, then the function name, round bracket, colon. Right? So you will use the keyword class. Class is a keyword, then means a reserve word. Then the name of the class. It's an identifier. So this is the meaningful name, whatever you want to give. It should be combination of letters, digit, underscore. Getting? It cannot start with a digit, cannot be a reserve word. Okay. So that rules you have to follow. But give some meaningful name. For what purpose you are making the class. Suppose you are creating a class for car. So class car, class bike, class cat, clear? Class student, class employee, getting? Class bill, class mark sheet, okay? Class time, class date, class stack, class queue, so many names. These are all practical examples. Stack, queue, time, date, student, getting? Teacher or a bill or a mark sheet. These all things we implement in the program. So accordingly, we give the name. So class name, and then dot, and then after that, indented body of the class. You have to give indentation. That also is not new to you now. I hope you know it. When we write a while loop, the while body, we indent. Indent means we put a tab and then we start writing.
Yes.
Get it? Or we write a for loop or a function definition. Everything we give a tab and then we give a body. So body. And now generally in this body, what will be there? The data and the functions, which we'll call it as methods. Okay. And these methods will be manipulating that data, or these methods will be processing that data or accessing that data. Okay. So how to create classes clear to you. And once the class is created, then you can create copies of it. Okay. Now how to create copies in Python to create copies. Okay. Whatever the object variable is equal to, you just have to write class name, whatever the name of your class is, and round bracket. Now you may say, Yeah, sorry, nothing is there. Round bracket. Now you may say round bracket means is it a call to some function? Because normally whenever we call function, that time only we write round bracket. Yes or no? In the previous module only we have seen whenever we call function, we write round bracket. So class
Yes.
name round bracket. So here also is some function getting called. Yes, there is one magic method getting called as
Yes.
constructor, getting which is init, double underscore init, double underscore. I'll tell you, don't worry. Okay, so here also one magic method gets called, and here there is no need of new or anything. In some languages, when you create an object, you write new over here, like in Java, even in JavaScript. When you create an object, you need to write new here. No need here, just class name and round bracket. It will create a copy of this class. One copy of this class is created, and the reference of that copy is stored in this variable, which is your object. So object is holding the reference of your OB, which is a variable holding the reference of that copy. And then once we get the reference, using dot operator, you can access its members. OB dot, and then you can access the members of it, the data, the functions, whatever methods are there, the data is there, that all you can access using dot operator. Only dot, huh? There is no confusion here. Like those who have done OP in C++, there we have arrow operator also, and we have dot also. Means if you're accessing via pointer, then we use arrow. If you're accessing via name, we use dot. Then if it is static, then we have to use colon colon. So no such confusion like C++. Here, all the members you access using dot, OB dot, then the data or the functions. Okay? So all through example I'll give you, don't worry. First we'll see how to define a class. So class definition starts with a class keyword, followed by the name of the class, and then colon. So first you have to have the word class, the name of the class, colon. And after that, on the next line, you will do the indentation. Indentation means you'll press tab and then give the body of the class. So any code that is indented below the class definition is considered as class body. Okay, syntax I'll show you. See, keyword class, then the name of the class, colon, and then indented class body. Okay, and generally in the class body, what will be there? The data and the methods. That's what we studied before this topic. Before this topic and yesterday's lecture, what we have studied, every object is characterized by what? Its characteristics and behavior. Then that characteristic we call it as data, and the behaviors we call it as functions.
Function.
Functions contain logic in which that data is getting accessed or manipulated. Get it? So generally this class body will contain what? Contains the data to store the characteristic of the object and the methods to define the behavior of the object. Understanding? Like if you are creating class cat, okay, then the data will be the height of the cat, then the weight of the cat, color of the cat, breed of the cat. That will be the data. And then methods will be what? Whatever behavior that cat shows, like run, jump, snore, sleep. Getting? Those all are behavior, which we'll call it as method. So that both things you encapsulate within the class. Correct? And then how those data and methods are accessed outside using dot operator. But you'll attach that dot operator with whom? With the object. You'll create an object, then dot, and then you will access that data or you will access the methods. Okay? Methods means they are functions only. And in the data structure module, we have discussed this so many methods. Methods of list, methods of tuple. Yes or no? We created a list object and then we wrote L dot append. So what is it? It's a method of that list object. And L is a copy of class list, isn't it or no? Example, I'll tell you. We'll create one class cat. Class is a keyword. Then the name of the class is cat. And then the body I have left empty. So if you want to leave the body empty, use pass keyword. Module number 2, don't forget. In module 2, we have discussed about it. In module 2, what we discussed, all control flow. If else, then for loop, while loop, transfer instruction, break, continue. And at the end, we discussed pass. Yaad hai na? Clear? So whenever, according to the rule, you have to write something. Miss Python says that according to the rule, you have to write there some code, but you want to leave it blank. Then you can use this dummy statement. This is a dummy instruction. Huh? Okay. So in Python, it is allowed to create an empty class. Not only in Python, in C++, Java also we can create. But there later you cannot add data and methods like in Java or in C++. If you create an empty class, cat, open brace, close brace, nothing I am writing is allowed. But once you create an empty class, after that you cannot add any data or methods in it. But here it is possible. Why? Because this is a dynamic type language. Same thing in PHP is also possible. Same in JavaScript. Because JavaScript, PHP, Python, they are one genre, what you call it as. Means they come under one category. That is dynamically typed, loosely typed language. Okay. So in Python, it is allowed to first create an empty class and then create objects of it, and then you can add data and methods in it. Getting is possible. Okay. So I'm creating just an empty class cat and pass. See, signifies empty class body. Okay. But later you can add members in it. Members means data and methods. Okay. Now, once the class is created, the next step is what? Creating objects of it. Isn't it, guys? We have to create objects of it. Okay. For timing, I'll just show you here. Okay. I'm just creating one class cat and pass. This is just an empty class. Class is created, but it's an empty class in which no data, no method. But it is allowed. In Python, it is allowed that you can create an empty class and later you can add members in it. Okay. Now, once the class is created, then you will create copies of it. Yes or no? The copies of that class are only called as the
Objects.
instances of class objects.
Instant.
Absolutely. Get it? Instances of any class or copies of any class are called as objects. I told you that mold from which the cookies are going to be made. Mom is going to make cookies from that mold. Getting? Now, he may say like he's very uh, gender bias. Every time he says mom makes a cookie, it's not necessary in your house. Your father is making cookie, doesn't matter. Getting? But the traditional thing, from years we have seen that cookies mom only make. Getting? And father doesn't do, but it may be possible. Okay? Otherwise, you may say, like every time, whenever he takes example, he distinguishes this is done by mom only and this is done by dad only. Getting? So it is up to you in your house. Maybe your dad also may be preparing it. Okay? So when she is preparing that cookie, she uses that mold. So that mold is the class. And from that mold, the hundreds of cookies which are made, they are what? Instances. They are the copies of that class. They are the objects. Get it? Objects take space. Now, how to create object? Just now I told you. Left side, the
Object.
reference variable. Remember that reference variable is only object. Okay. So left side, you will have an object variable, the reference variable, and right side, you'll give the class name and just round bracket, nothing else. Okay. Later, we are going to see here you can pass parameters. So obviously, when I write round, some function is going to get called, but that is a magic function. Magic function meaning you are not calling it explicitly.
Record.
It is getting called implicitly. So who is that? That is actually called as a constructor. Correct? So it will create a copy of this class. When we write class name round bracket, it creates a copy of this class. Actually, that constructor is called, and inside that again some other function is also called, who does the allocation of memory. That is double underscore new double underscore. That is also one magic method which gets implicitly called, whose job is to do the allocation of memory. So memory allocation is done on the heap as much as needed for your class, and then the reference of your object is returned, which you are collecting in this object variable. So object variable will hold the reference, and once it gets the reference, it can access the members of it by writing dot operator, object dot, and then you can access the data dot, you can access the methods, okay, of that object. Okay, so how to do it? That also I'll show you. So creating object means creating instance. And instance means what? Copy. And remember, copies, that is objects, take space. Objects occupy space. Right or no? So all tray full of cookies, do they occupy space? All the cars which have come on the road from that one design, they are occupying space. Right or no? Clear? The flats which are made from that architect blueprint, cars need flats, right? So they are taking the space in the building, right? The objects take space in memory. The syntax, see, class name, round bracket, and the memory is allocated as much as needed for that class. Then the reference is returned, which you are collecting in your variable. See, instance, that is the copy of the given class is created. Okay, instance created meaning copy. Copy means space. So it is going to occupy space in the memory. And the reference of it, reference means address of that copy, is getting stored in this variable. Understanding? So example, here you can see already we have created one class cat. I am creating one copy of it. Money equal to cat. Kitty equal to cat. Means what has happened? Two copies of one class. Means one blueprint is there, one design of cat is there. Now the two copies of it are created. So first copy created means as much memory is needed for the cat. Okay, that much is allocated. And then the reference of it is stored in your variable money. So money is a variable which is holding the reference of this whole object. So that is only your object. Means that reference variable only is a object we call. Then one more copy is created, right? And its reference is stored in another variable, kitty. Is it like creating two integer variables? So both are variables of what type? Integer. So int is the class, and the two variables of integer are objects. They're two copies. Understanding? No? Yes or no? See here. I'm creating x equal to 10, y equal to 20. So are these x and y are also objects? Yes, they are
Yes.
objects of class integer. We can print and see. type of X, type of Y. Does it print class int, int? This proves that X and Y are two copies, okay, of class integer. So int is a class, and these two are instances, objects. These objects will occupy space. Getting? Somewhere memory is allocated, 10 stored. The reference is collected in X. Again, memory allocated 20. Actually, this 10, 20, they are kept in a pool. If you remember, very beginning lectures. And that pool ranges from -5 to 256. Beyond that, then it allocates separate memory. Otherwise, it takes from the pool only. So this is another Y, and it is referring to 20. Isn't it? Again, two copies only created of integer. Same way here, two copies of cat created. One copy reference is in money, another copy reference is in kitty. Right? Here also you can check the type of money. It will print class cat. Is it printing class cat? And this class cat is currently present in this default module where I'm typing. Am I typing it directly on the terminal? Means this interactive terminal. So it is kept default in this module. Okay? Type kitty. It is also an object of class cat. Right? Okay? And suppose if I try to pass this kitty and money, okay? I'm passing money to print, I get this output. It is telling that money is belonging to this module. The name of that money, the object of, sorry, the class of that object is cat, and the address of that money is this thing. This is the memory address. And if I pass kitty, it will give the address of kitty. But the question is how we got this string. The string is getting printed. Printing is done by print. Print does the printing. Okay. But someone is there to provide this string to print. Job of print is what? To do printing. Print says you give me whatever, I'll print it. जो भी आप मुझे दोगे मैं वो print करूंगा. So this string, someone might have supplied it to print. Therefore, print is printing this. So what happens is whenever you write print money or you write print kitty, here one magic method is called, guys. Understanding? Whenever you are writing print and then the object, directly object print cannot print. Print says I can print elementary value. I can print integer, I can print float, I can print the string, I can print a boolean. But to print an object is not my job. Someone else has to give me the value and then I print. So what actually happens over there, guys, when we write print money, here one magic method is called. Please understand, guys. Magic method means a method which is called implicitly. We don't call them explicitly using a dot operator. So suppose if I call it explicitly, it will be something like this. Money dot double underscore str double underscore. This is that magic method. This is that magic method, which is actually called here. We don't know. We are just saying print money, but actually money has invoked this magic method. Then this magic method is returning the string, and that string is given to print and print prints it. See, you'll get the same output. And same thing for kitty if I do. Means ultimately what you understood that whenever you pass an object to a print, whenever you are passing an object to print, that object is implicitly invoking this magic method. Actually, I didn't know, I don't have to tell that it implicitly invokes this magic. This is the wrong English, technically wrong. Why? Because magic is implicitly only. Whenever we say magic, it is implicit. So you can say like here implicitly this method is called, or your magic method is called, like that. Don't use implicit and magic, because every magic method is called implicitly only.
Implicit.
Getting? So here it is giving call to this method. And then that method is returning a string. This is that string. That string is given to print and print displays it on the monitor. But now some may have a doubt from where this method came. My class is empty. मेरा क्लास तो empty है. मेरे क्लास में तो कुछ भी मेथड नहीं है. There is no method in my class. Then where from this method has come? Getting? Again, listen. Whenever you create a class in Python, okay, and if it doesn't have any parent, see, I'm creating a class cat colon. Okay. Now, is there any parent class to this cat class?
No.
Parent class, okay. There is no parent class to this cat class. So Python says no class will be orphan. Orphan word, I hope you know it, basic English. And therefore orphanages are there. Orphan means any child without a parent. Without parents, that child is called as an orphan child. And then it is kept in an orphanage. Concept, I hope you know it. So here also they are relating it to the real life concept. The class is not having any parent. Okay, so don't worry. Python says if any class is orphan, it will get automatic one parent class, and that parent class is object. This is the same rule in Java as well, but in Java that O is capital, your O is small. We don't do it. Python interpreter automatically derives your class cat from object class. An object is a cosmic parent class, like God class, you can say God. Therefore, in real life, we say when the child parents die, then all the relatives say, "Don't worry, no, God is there for you." Same thing. Here also, object is there for that cat class. An object class is a class already provided by Python. Means, in short, in Python, any classes you make, they are ultimately derived from object. An object is a class. Don't confuse with that copy. That copy is also called object. And in Python, there is one class also name object. O small. Get it? There is a class called object. And this class will be automatically derived from that parent class. So who is going to be the parent class? Object class.
Opposite.
And now what happens is when you create a cat object, and this is empty, you create a cat object and you pass it to print. Get it? So first what it does, it searches that magic method in cat class. Which magic method? Double underscore str double underscore. So that magic method, it will first search in cat class, but cat class is empty. So error doesn't come. It goes to its parent, and from parent it gives the call. So that method double underscore str double underscore, if it is not in your class, it will be sure present in which class? Tell me guys. If it is not there in your class, then also error doesn't occur and still it is getting called. Here only you can check.
Magic method. Yes.
So from where it is getting called? As in my class, I don't have any double underscore str. My class is empty class.
Implicit
My
parent.
called implicitly, but from where is that definition coming? This method is not in my class and still it is getting called. So from where it is getting called? Just now I told you.
Opposite.
It is getting called from which class? Object
Opposite.
class.
Object.
Understanding? Means in object class, This is also class, remember class object, O is smaller, and this is the class provided by Python. Okay, and in that there is a method called double underscore str. So initially it will go and search it in which class? First it
Okay.
will search that in
Our class.
our class, meaning your cat class.
Cat.
You're absolutely right. First it will search in our class because the object is of our class. Cat, kitty and money, they both are objects of which class? Cat class.
Cat.
So it will search this method, double underscore str, this magic method in the cat class, but not found. Not found, still it doesn't give an error. Still it is calling it. So from where it is going to call it now?
Object.
The class.
That is the parent class. Who is the parent of cat?
Object class.
Object class. And object class is already supplied by Python. Get it? Means in Python, remember any class you make, ultimately they are derived from where? Derived means they are created from which class? The
Object class.
cosmic root class called object. It's the root of every one. Getting? Means मराठी मध्ये म्हणतो आपण उत्पत्ति. तो सबका birth कहाँ से हुआ है? All are born directly or indirectly from object. Getting? Maybe like directly cat doesn't come. Possible a cat parent is animal and animal doesn't have parent. Then like I'm creating one class animal. Okay? Something is there. Then I have created class cat and here I have written animal and this is cat class. So I created a cat object. I passed to print. It has given call to double underscore str. First, it has searched that in cat class, not available. So will it go directly to object or first it will go to animal?
Animal.
Common sense, right or no? First, in real life also, when we face some problem, we directly don't go to the God. First, we go to our parents and try to solve that issue. Our parents are not able to solve, then they go to their parent, that is grandparents. If they are also not able to solve, then we take the help of God. है ना? In normal life, we say की directly देवाकडे direct धाव नाही घ्यायची. First means don't directly go to the God. First try to solve on your own. If you are not able to solve, then take the help of your parent. No, then they will take help of their parent. And no, then ultimately we leave it to God. Same concept. So here double underscore str is first searched in cat. Cat is not there. In cat it is not there. Therefore it will search in animal. Now in animal also not there. So will it go to animal's parent? So who will be animal's parent? Here nothing is there.
Object.
Object. Now the concept is clear to you. And object is the cosmic parent provided by Python. So what Python says is any class which doesn't have a parent, I am providing one parent. Who is that parent? Object.
Object.
It's called as a cosmic parent class. Okay, like a God class. So if any class doesn't have a parent, object becomes automatic parent. But if suppose that double underscore str is not in this class, not in this class, it reaches to object, but in object it is sure there. And that's what is happening here. From where is this actual double underscore str getting called? As it is not in cat, so actually from where it is getting called? Quickly answer. This method is actually searched in cat, but in cat it's not there. And still error is not coming. Still it is printing. Means sure this method is getting called from
Yes.
huh,
Parent class.
parent
Parent
class. And
class.
who is the parent of cat?
Object class.
Object. So from object it gets called. And that object's str returns what? The class name, then the address. You can print and see this address also separately, guys, like this. ID of Kitty. Okay? Now you say this address and this address doesn't match. This is in integer and this is in hexadecimal. If you want, I'll show you that. There is a built-in function called hex in Python, and which takes an integer and converts it into hexadecimal. You can cross verify. Is the address same? These are just leading zeros. This is just in capital, this is in lowercase.
Yes.
Isn't it? Is the address same? Same way, you can check hex of ID of money. Is the address same? 5680. It's in hexadecimal. Only that is the difference. Okay? So what you'll remember first, basic thing what you'll remember, whenever you pass a object to print, first what is implicitly called by that
Magic method.
object? Huh? Huh? Loudly, loudly. Speak. Whenever you pass an object to print, what does that object calls implicitly?
Magic method.
Which magic method?
Double underscore str. Double.
Double underscore. And then whatever string that method returns, that string is given to print and print displays that string.
Yes.
Okay? I hope you're understanding.
Yes.
I'll justify it by adding our str. Then it will be more clear to you. See, money and kitty are two objects of class cat. And suppose you pass this money directly to print, you get something output like this. But please remember, this output is just printed by print. Print says my job is printing, but what to print you give me. So who is going to provide this value? That magic method. Get it? Here implicitly money dot double underscore str double underscore is called. And whatever string that str returns, that string is this is that string. That string is given to print and print displays it on the monitor. And you can try printing the address of the object, which we have done it many times in the past, printing address of any variable by using ID function. So pass money object, it will return the address of money object. It is in decimal, you just convert in hexadecimal. This is actually the address of object money. Okay? And within 1 minute, I'll just show you to wind up with today's session. In this class, suppose I add one function double underscore str double underscore. Here you have to pass self. About self, we'll talk later. Okay? What does that self contain? It will just contain the reference of the object for whom it is called. Like if this is called for money, self will contain money's reference. If this str is called for kitty, self will contain kitty's reference. In detail, we will be talking. And here what I'm doing is I'm just returning one string, hello world. Okay, guys. Now what I'm doing, I'm creating one object, money of cat and kitty of cat. And now if I pass money object to print, here also will it call that magic method double underscore str double
Yes.
underscore? But now
Yes.
which one will be called? Object class or your class?
The our class.
Right? The one which we have provided. Concept is clear to you guys. So print money here implicitly it will give call to double underscore str double underscore. It searches that function in our class. It's there. So now it will not go to the parent. Just now I told ना प्रॉब्लम खुद सॉल्व करते हो है ना वी डू इट स्कूल्स में हम कुछ कांड करते थे तो पहले वही निपटा देते थे राइट और नो वो पेरेंट्स तक लाते भी नहीं थे बट कभी कभी सीरियस मैटर होता था देन दैट इश्यू यूज टू कम टू द पेरेंट पहले कोशिश करते थे खुद ही निपटा देना है वी विल नॉट टेक दैट इश्यू टिल द पेरेंट्स एग्जैक्ट सेम कॉन्सेप्ट है तो हियर हु इज गेटिंग कॉल्ड str but of our but in our class if it is not there then it will go to the parent see Is it printing like this hexadecimal address and all? No. Means, is it proved? First of all, hello world is getting printed. Means, does it prove here that str is called?
Yes.
Yes, that proves. Otherwise, how hello world will get printed? Hello world is returned by this str. And unless and until this is getting called, how it will return? So sure, this method is getting called. And where it is called? Here, money dot double underscore str, kitty dot double underscore str. And what that str returns, this string. That
Hello.
string we give to print, and print displays it on the monitor. Getting, guys? So I hope this concept is clear. Tomorrow we will see how to add data, how to add methods. Okay.